Peace and blessings. Greetings to you all this morning. This is Sister Yaterah, the First Lady of FardMoney Network, here to talk about prayer for our self-improvement discussion today, because this is definitely not a self-improvement class. Technically, in one way it is, because we are all here living in the university of God. And so our lives, everything is something that we can learn from. We can learn, and actually both books, both the Holy Quran, the Bible, I think it's in the Bible where it talks about the ant, studying the ant and going like thy ant, oh, thy sluggard, right? And so we can absolutely learn from, we can absolutely learn from anything, from everything, if that is what we desire to do, is to learn, is to be a student. And so that is what I am definitely, I am a student, and I'm striving every day to continuously be better than I was yesterday, be better than I was a few minutes ago. And so thank you all for being with me today. And I do apologize for, it's 7:07 when I'm starting, and yesterday I thought today I was gonna win, because my son got up yesterday around 6:50 and he ended up joining me on the live. And today I said, okay, maybe if he's up at 6, I might, at 6, he was up around 6 today. I was like, okay, maybe he'll be asleep by the time 7 comes. And he's not, and sometimes he just wants to be rocked back to sleep by his mother. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to let you all know that 7 o'clock is the intention, and I'm striving to do whatever I can. So, I might come on here, give or take a few minutes later, due to trying to, situate the babies. And sometimes first thing in the morning, they don't want to be, just with dad. Sometimes they want to be with mom because they're still sleepy. And, hey, that's what I can do. And that's what I can work with. So again, thank you for being here. And today's conversation, again, I wanted to talk about prayer. Actually, it wasn't even I wanted to talk about prayer. Let me say that. Each day is not, I don't have it written out or planned what I'm going to talk about, because I basically pray about it. I'm in communication, and that's what prayer is. For me, it's communication with my Creator. It's communication, with God. And so yesterday, as I was preparing to, go to bed and I'm making my prayers, it actually came to me while I was in prayer. And it was prayer, hence the title. And so there's a lot of different things that I'm experiencing with the beauty of prayer. And I just want to start by saying, okay, 2 things. Prayer is different for, different people. Obviously, I am a Muslim in the Nation of Islam. So, Muslims do have a actual form, of prayer that we take 5 times a day. And for me, it is absolutely the most beautiful thing, because when I was a little girl, I used to, I had the desire, son, let's get through this, okay? Go ahead and just close your eyes. And then that way, no. Go ahead and go to sleep. Thank you. I have the desire to learn how to communicate to God. I grew up my father was a rabbi, so I grew up under the Jewish faith. And my parents divorced when I was very young. So I don't remember us having any type of formal prayer services. And so with that, I know that as I was getting older, and as I met more people and heard of the name God and saw different things of people having their own relationship with God, I wanted that. And so part of my desire to have that relationship with Him caused me to have the desire to learn how to pray. So granted, I didn't learn prayer the Muslim way growing up, or I just seen different things in church, and I still didn't feel confident that I knew how to pray, which as I look back is absolutely amazing, because God knows us from the wombs of our mothers. And so when I look back on the journey that he has taken me through, I have always been in a form of prayer with him by my yearning for him, by my wanting to be close to him and with him, to the point that when I was about, I don't know, I think I was probably like 10, I remember distinctly reading the Bible, and I don't even, I can't even picture or put into context the whole thing of why was I was sitting on the living room floor, just grabbed the Bible and just decided to pick it up and read it. And I was reading about Abraham, and Abraham being the friend of God, walking and talking with him. And I remember coming to the point of tears reading that because, well, I didn't have that relationship with God, and I wanted to. And I cried to him, and I asked him as I'm holding this book and I'm reading about he and Abraham being good friends. And I'm asking God while I'm crying as a 10-year-old little girl, why can't I be your friend? Why, I want to be your friend. Why aren't you here for me the way that you were there for Abraham? So it made me look at the Bible in a way where it was like, I wanted to go back, because God and the prophets and the life of, things were just different back then. It made me view the Bible in that kind of way. Or just scripture, period. It made me look at scripture like it was a history book and not a current script of things that are unfolding now. And it wasn't until I joined the Nation of Islam that I was blessed to understand and get that understanding from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as they have expressed and taught what we have been taught. Because we in the Nation of Islam, we say and we know that God appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And that's why you see us, we are a distinct group of people. We are different than anyone else. No one else on the planet looks like us. And what am I saying by that? What I'm just saying is, this is my journey, right? So I'm just sharing with you my testimony and how these different elements have helped me with self-improvement, right? Another story that comes to me from the Bible that has definitely shaped who I am, or helped me to realize who I am, because again, Allah was shaping and molding me, from the womb and even beforehand. And so when I think about the story of Job is actually my all-time favorite book in the Bible. Again, since I was a little girl, my absolute favorite book. And that's because the faith that Job had, that set the standard for me. I probably knew about Job before reading about Abraham. For some reason, Job's story sticks out so much. Abraham had to make a sacrifice with his son, and he was going to do that in obedience, to God. Job, on the other hand, didn't know that there was a communication between God and Satan about him. Satan is saying, I can take him out, but you got this hedge around him. So since you protected him, I can't, that's the only reason why I haven't gotten him to curse you. God is like, oh, Job? Oh, all right, I can move the hedge. That's not a problem. Go ahead, have at him. Just don't take his life, but go ahead and do your thing. And Satan did his thing. and in terms of the different trials and tribulations that Job went through, even his own wife, which is very significant, because a man pretty much, a man chooses his wife. And so his wife told him to curse God and die. But here is a faithful servant, that did not allow, that just hit me another way. Wow, I have never thought about that part of it like that. just the fact that he went through so many different things with the illnesses, with the pains, with the deaths in his family, with the loss of property, with the loss of things. And then he's just like, I'm not going to curse my God. I'm going to submit. Like, who am I to, to do that? Who am I to question God? Why, and when I say question God, I mean that very loosely, because we absolutely can question God. I didn't grow up in Sunday school and in the church or anything, but I hear enough that in different people's stories in their own testaments that they were always told, you don't question God. And like I said, I didn't have that experience, but Job had the heart to be submissive to God. And I just admired it. I loved it. And I experienced my own form of that, specifically when I came into the Nation of Islam. I registered in the Nation of Islam in 2012, and then August of 2012. And 2013 was my first Savior's Day. That's so funny. So when I came back so I had got a car that I was paying. I had a note on. My little Scion. I had a note on it, and I was behind on my note a few months, I think. And I knew that, and I knew that they were trying to come and get my car. And so I was living in my own apartment in Tampa, and I left, and I asked my mom if I could hide my car at her house. And she told me yeah. And I left for Savior's Day. And I came back for Savior's Day, and I was in the airport, and my mom calls me, and she goes, "Oh, you're back?" I was like, I'm on my way back. I haven't got back yet. Why? What are you saying? "Oh, because the car is gone." And I was like, oh my God. Immediately I knew what that meant. Obviously the repo got me. But she didn't know. I don't remember if I told her or not, but she thought that I was back. And I just remember being like, that really threw me off. And one of the things that was said to me about that situation at a later time, I think it was at a later time, was, oh, so that's what happens when so that's what God does to you. You go, you join the Nation of Islam, and you're off at Savior's Day, and you come home and your car is gone, and that's what God does to you. Boy, wow, God is amazing how he shapes us. And in that very moment, I'm like, that wasn't even like a trick question. Like, that wasn't even a trap. It was like, are you serious? You don't know the story of Job? Being a servant of God does not mean that you're not going to be tried. Name a servant of God that was not tried. Because why are you going to try a disbeliever? What are you trying? If somebody's outright saying, listen, I don't believe in God. You don't believe in God? We'll go obey him. What? That doesn't even make sense. So that was, like I said, that just is the way that Allah has shaped me. And prayer, I am finding, this is what I guess the meat of this is this part of what I want to say, which is, for recently, I have been talking greatly about prayer to my husband and a few of my sisters about what I am learning and realizing not what prayer is in full, no. But as I am learning and improving and mastering my 5 daily prayers, because sometimes the struggle is real, right? And sometimes it's different things that hinder me from praying, but it's because I'm allowing it to hinder me. And so recently I have been coming to the realization that by submitting to our prayers, for Muslims, Christians, Jews alike, right? We all have our form of prayer. So by whatever way that you choose to pray, But by us submitting to that, if I don't know, what is taught in terms of Christianity on, how often you should pray. I have never, had that conversation, and I don't know if I've heard the minister talk about it, but I think that it's important to, and let me say this too, because this is part of my prayer journey. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about a woman falling in love with a man, right? How does she fall in love with a man? By way of communication. See, men and women are different. Men don't typically fall into, they don't fall into interest with a woman because of the conversation. Initially, you know what I'm saying? Like off the top, a man is more into the physical appearance. And so for the woman, it's about the ear, it's about the conversation. And so when he talked about the woman and how we have to be in communication with God, we all have to be, should be in communication with God. But this was just something for the woman in terms of, how do you expect to fall in love with this man, with God, if you are not communicating with him? That set the tone for me. So there was different aspects in my life that set the tone for me, meaning the perspective, the view, or the attitude that I should have about a particular subject, right? And so for me, the 5 times a day is a blessing. It's what I need. I needed that. Coming out of this world, being born into a world of sin and shaped in its madness, and wanting to come out of that world. I mean, we might have to do 50 prayers a day, right? To stay from the madness, to gain some sanity. To hell with keep sanity, trying to gain some sanity. So the prayer for me has been that perspective, that mindset, that attitude about my communication with God. So that 5 times a day is a beautiful thing. However, it has also been a struggle, striving to make sure that I submit to it. A lot of things can come up. The children are doing this is happening, I'm tired, there's an event going on, whatever. And like I said, as over the last few weeks, I've been having this, this epiphany, this light bulb has been going off in my head, this revelation, if you will, for my own personal life on prayer. And one of the things that has been coming to me is that by me, stopping what I'm doing when prayer comes in, by me stopping what I'm doing to prepare my children, myself, if my husband is here, just calling because sometimes I will be the one that actually makes the call to prayer, or my daughter. And by doing that, I am establishing discipline in my life. I don't know about you all, but discipline is so crucial. It's so important. It's so crucial for success in anything that we do. And that's what I am learning. So, and it's helping me to be disciplined in other areas of my life. Because if I can't find time to stop whatever I'm doing, to observe prayer and to talk to my Lord, who I say I believe in, who I want to serve, who I honor, who I revere, who I fear, but I can't stop what I'm doing to pray to him at the time that he has prescribed for me to pray, then how in the world am I going to stop to do any other thing that I need to do? So for me personally, you know, you might be somebody, again, if that standard has not been set in your mind, then then that's not a stumbling stone or a block that you'd have to get over in order for you to be disciplined to anything else. But for me as a Muslim who professes out of my lips, out of my mouth, that there is no God but Allah, that I'm a Muslim, and one of the principles, the pillars of Islam is prayer, and I'm not praying, right? Then there's a disconnect, and it's going to cause me to be disconnected and to stumble in other areas as well. So that's the gist of, what I wanted to share today at this moment. The power of prayer and how it is guiding me and leading me to even being here. As I said yesterday or the day before, I used to do live streams at 7 a.m, and that was like 5 years ago. And they were self-improvement, but I didn't identify them as that, but that's what they were. And I was just sharing it to help others, specifically women, because what I was going through at that time, my focus and attention was on other women, because I had just gone through, a major change in my life. And I was starting to feel like other women, Allah blessed me to go through that with strength and with closeness to Him. And I felt like other women who either don't have a relationship with God or feel like they're alone, I felt like I needed to be their voice. I felt like I needed to not just be their voice, but to reach them, to speak to them, and to offer myself as a sister to them. And so I'm saying that to say that now Allah brought me back to this by way of my submission to prayer. Now I have evolved to another level, and the only way that I'm going to be able to see this thing here, this right here, through on a day-to-day basis is by prayer. Because as I said, as I opened up this stream today, I don't have these things written out. I don't know what tomorrow is going to be. But it's through my prayer that I'm communicating with God. So as I'm talking to Him, He is absolutely communicating back to me. And the prayer title came while I was in prostration last night praying. I was in prayer when prayer, your topic for tomorrow, came to my mind. So, family, thank you for being with me. I am excited to continue this journey. I don't know where this journey will take us, but as I posted on the flyer to, inviting people into this space, my desire is to have conversations. To me, I'm going to close with this. When I was 3 years old, going on 4, my mother and my biological father asked me a question, according to their story to me, that I was asked, what do I want out of life? I'm 3 or 4. Can anybody guess? Let me just pause the video for a moment. What do you think I said at 3 or 4? Huh? I don't even know what to guess it, being that I know the answer. I don't even know, what would any other 3 or 4-year-old say? Or what is an average thought that you would think a 3 or 4-year-old would say? I said, love and understanding. To this day, I'm like, where did that come from? Because I don't have a memory of it. And I'm like, where did that come from? But Allah has always had His hand on me. The same way that He has His hands on you. And so I say that again in closing to say that my understanding was the key point. But what was I saying about? What was I saying? I was saying something about, I was talking about prayer, but I was going to say, let me see, why was I talking about understanding? Love and understanding, conversation. Thank you. Got it. So that being part of my genetic makeup, understanding, with all thy getting, get understanding. When we understand, it gives us, it's one thing to tell a child, don't stick that fork in the socket. Don't do it. Now I'm leaving you in this room with the fork, or I'm leaving this house, or I'm going out of sight. But don't do it. 9 out of 10, that child might do it. Especially if you were stopping them from doing it and you just told them don't do it. There's something in us that says, you said don't, but now I want to, right? But if you say and explain, don't put the fork inside of the socket, because if you do, you could get electrocuted, you could die. Okay, oh, you gave me some understanding. I don't want to die. Ooh. Or I don't want to lose a finger. I don't want to burn up. I don't want to catch fire. I don't want to, Now you have given me some understanding. So now it just becomes a decision. Well, do I still want to experiment and risk the pain, or do I just don't want to do it? But being a servant of God, we don't always have that understanding. It's He who grants us the understanding. So it's not like we're told, pray because, and then a list of 100 things of what prayer does for us. Oh, it helps your body, it helps your posture, it helps your immune system, it helps this and the third. It's not like He gave us that. Different people can come and say, oh, wow, I found with prayer that this is what, and this is what, and this is what. The science or the evidence comes after the revelation. But just by submitting, that's the power. And He will grant to us in His timing the understanding. So that's it today. Okay? That's it today. I didn't read from the Holy Quran, so we won't go into HQ today. But we'll be back tomorrow by the help and grace of Allah as I continue to share this, because again, about the conversation, that's what we're closing on, the love, the understanding, to have these conversations for self-improvement. Because I believe with every fiber of my being that we would be better if we talk more in these type of dialogues and discussions on how to be better, or talking about things. So we might go and listen to, whether it's a lecture, whether it's a clubhouse, whether it's a conversation, we talk about things, generally speaking, but I don't really hear a lot of us having the discussions, the difficult discussions that would require us to then be in the valley of decision to make change. And so as I'm striving to be my best self this life, to live up to my full potential, I want to be all that God intends for me to be. He wants me to be a God. I want to be a God. And though I am a God by birthright, I want to I want to step fully into my Godhood power. And I'm only going to get there by observing, concentrating, and submitting. And prayer is in that process. So thank you all for being with me today. This is Sister Yaterah, the First Lady of FardMoney Network, signing off. See you all, God willing, tomorrow at 7 a.m. or 7:07. Okay? Peace and blessings.